Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. They say being competitive and creative can bring out the child in all of us. Each of you was assigned an anvil at random. Now we're gonna unveil what's underneath those cloths. Levi, you're first. Go ahead and drop that cloth.
Nice.
That's a toy airplane.
I like toys. I drive a giant Tonka. That's just a giant toy for a grown man who's still wanting to be a kid.
Chuck, you're next. That is a toy robot. John, you're up next.
All right.
You've got a locomotive, and then on the end here, Tommy,
All right.
we've got a toy fire truck. In the first round of competition, you'll have to harvest mild steel from these toys to combine with W1 round stock to forge a billet from which you will make your signature blade and your signature style. Good luck, bladesmiths. Your 3 hour starts now.
Toys, toys, toys.
Mothers across America are gonna hate Forged in Fire this week because your children are gonna go and rip their toys apart looking for mild steel.
Come on. So I look at this fire truck and I realize the only part that's gonna be usable on it are the side panels. So my plan is to take the fire truck panel, turn it into a semi taco, and wedge a piece of my W1 in between it.
As a kid, I spent more time taking apart toys than I spent playing with them. But I've never tried to make a knife out of a toy. There's a piece of steel on either side of the cabin, and my plan is to do a sandwich method.
My plan is to take the mild steel and fold it over to a sandmine taco. Sandmine can make a real strong blade because of the high carbon steel you use is sandwiched in between mild steel, and the mild steel has a little flex.
I'm gonna use the samurai method to make my knife. Gonna have no contamination. Make sure I'll get a damn good weld. I got my metal in the forge. I'm gonna try flatten it all out. I'm gonna try sand the two together, weld it up. I'll have my knife. I'll start shaping it. Get a little edge on there. I'll be ready to go.
I want to get the W1 down to a nice even thickness so that I can stick the mild steel on it. The side of the train is all painted with black spray paint, and the other side is pretty clean to weld onto the side of the W1. And then, of course, brain fart. I welded the wrong side to the blade. That paint's gonna cause delamination. So now I've got to cut that off and redo it.
I have my W1 flat, and now I have to combine some of the mild steel from the robot. I just need to place it over the backbone of the knife where it's going to have the most stress and hope that works.
That's not a bad idea. The taco technique adds a lot of strength.
As I'm drawing this W1 out, my goal is to get it to the same size as the airplane wings. Piece of cake. It's time to do my samurai and get it welded.
The entire challenge is based on whether or not I get this forge weld set properly. Heat up my taco, I'm gonna wedge it W1 in between it, I'm gonna cover that bad boy in flux, and I'm gonna hit it till it's stuck.
John's over there on the power hammer, man, and he looks like he's building a big Kyber-style knife.
Yeah. It looks really good. Everything is a nice even color. When I hammer on it, I'm not hearing any sort of hollow noises or anything. So I feel like everything is nice and tight.
The forge weld is going pretty good. You heat it up, get it good and hot, hit it, and repeat.
After I get a forge weld, I'm thinking I gotta get this thing shaped. All right. If there's any issues with the weld not being good or delamming, it would definitely show up when I'm doing the grinding.
Tommy in the quench.
With a hot quench. And that's a recipe for stress fractures and a brittle blade.
Oh yeah. At this point, I feel great. My knife is hard. It's time to clean the metal up. There is a lateral crack going down the middle of my spine. This is terrible. Time is running out. If I don't get this mild steel welded on, I'm going home. I don't have time to worry about it, and I don't have time to fix it. I'm gonna start peeling off material.
John in the quench.
Good.
That's just a testament to how hot that must have been when it went in.
These blades are so hot going into this oil.
We're seeing some of these blades nearly at forge welding temperature going into these quenches. You can literally blow your sand mine billet apart if you aren't careful.
Chuck just quenched it.
I've got a seam here, but there's enough thick metal in between there. Hopefully it'll hold up. And that little bubble there, it didn't get welded. So I'm gonna try to grind that out.
Levi quenched, and his blade is very hot.
Flames just start going up everywhere, and I instantly thought, oh, I just screwed up. Way too hot when I put it in there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, shut down your machine. Stop what you're doing. This first round of competition is over. Bladesmiths, in the first round of competition, we asked you to take mild steel from a toy and use it with some W1 round stock to make a signature blade in your signature style. Now it's time for the judges to take a closer look at your work. Tommy, you're up first. Please present your blade to the judges.
Tommy, first off, I'd pay a lot of attention to the structure of this steel. There's some serious surface cracking. There's one that's right up here next to your weld that goes about halfway through your blade. So if you were to move forward from here, the structure in this region is going to need to be addressed.
All right, John, you're up. Please present your blade to the judges.
Right off, it's a good working chopper shape. And when you're looking at one side of your blade, it's very solid. But that looks like a very deep crack. So if you move into the second round, you're going to need to come up with a plan to deal with this.
All right, Chuck, you're up. Please present your blade to the judges.
Obviously, you have your mild steel here that didn't really weld properly, but it's a good thing that we're not going to be hitting it sideways. With the edge here, you have no issues. It's just that one spot that you have here, that stress riser, could be caused by bending or overheating the blade. It could break at this spot, so you have to deal with that.
All right, Levi, you're up. Please present your blade to the judges.
Levi, you quenched this blade so hot that you've actually split the W1 core. I just don't think it's repairable.
Levi, unfortunately, your blade has suffered critical structural failure and can no longer continue in this competition. I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
Is what it is. In the end, I quenched it too hot. That sucks.
John, Tommy, congratulations. You fellas have made it into the final round of this competition. It's time to step up your games and make something worthy of a Forged in Fire champion. Now it's time to send you back to your home forges to recreate an iconic weapon from history. That weapon is the M1832 foot artillery sword. You'll have 4 days at your home forge in which to complete this challenge. At the end of your 4 days, you'll return and present your weapons to our panel of expert judges, and after they've tested the hell out of them, you guys will graduate from child's play to full-fledged Forged in Fire champion who wins a check for $10,000. Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 4 days.
Back here in my shop, here in Gainesville, Texas, and I'm taking on the M1832 foot artillery sword. Today, I want to get the basics forged out. I'm using a car leaf spring because I use the leaf spring a lot. It makes a really good blade. It hardens really well and it tempers really well. My secret weapon for moving this metal, an 8-pound hammer. Why? Everything's bigger in Texas, that's why. My tane's a little off-centered, so I had to fix it. I'm gonna throw it in the hydraulic press to get it centered out. A little slower. She's a little ugly, but she moves metal. That's all that matters. Oh, perfect. Woohoo!
Today I'm going to get working on the handle. I'm going to be putting a lot of my own twists in this weapon. So I'm making a cast bronze handle. In order to cast this out of the bronze, I've got to make a positive regardless. So I could use any type of wood. I could use clay. This is just a really easy material to work with. So the idea is that the metal is going to travel down this tube. It's going to fill this handle up. It's going to come down the bottom, fill these up, and those will come out in the mold as cast bronze. So this is a razor tip wood burner. I'm going to use this to put the dragon scale texture This handle is going to take longer than the blade when it's all said and done, but I think it's going to be well worth it. Love it. Looks great.
Yesterday, I put in the fullers and quenched, so I'm gonna start forging the garden pommel. Let's get her done. I'm using a piece of round stock, mild steel. Nothing special, but it works. It's good. So grind the bevels in is what I'm gonna do next. I'm here, round 3. So happy I'm in round 3 to begin with, and build so far is going really good. My blade goes through and it catches on the belt. It has happened to me in a similar situation where it's catastrophic. This stupid thing. I have a curl in my actual edge. I have to match the rest of the edge to that lower point now. If I don't, this could potentially be a weak spot. Just gonna grind it out. Nothing I can do other than that. Just gotta roll with adversity.
Today I have to finish getting the handle cast. I've got the original built. Now I need to make the mold for it. So this is casting sand. It holds shape really well. So what I'm gonna do is pack this down into the bottom of my flask, lay my positive in there, and then pack it in nice and tight. Beautiful. That's awesome. So I've got my 2 halves now. Now I'm ready to put them back together and get them out to the foundry. I've got some bronze that I'm gonna start melting down. Once those get into a molten state, then we'll be ready to pour. The first time you're casting any design, there's always a lot of issues that can come out. You know, the metal could cool down too much before it gets down to the bottom. The mold could collapse on itself. It could just wreck inside and I don't know it. All right. If this doesn't work, I'm screwed. A bad pour is gonna set me back at least half a day, and I really don't have that time to spend. Whoa! That was 3,000 degrees of metal hitting 60-degree water. There she is. Woo! And the cool thing about bronze is that there's no carbon in it, so you don't have to worry about cracking or anything like that. I came here to prove that I can deliver more than I did in the first 2 rounds, and I'm really excited to show the judges what I've done. It's a $10,000 sword if I've ever seen one.
To find out what kind of deadly force your artillery swords can supply, I will take your weapon, deliver killing slashes on this ballistics dummy. John, you're up first. You ready for this?
Ready.
I like the beauty of an all-metal construction, and the Damascus pattern you have here is gorgeous. The weight is all the way in the handle, allows for a good recovery and forward delivery of strikes. Your edges are very sharp. Every cut cuts deep, cuts the bone and into the organs. And most importantly, sir, it will kill.
Thank you.
All right, Tommy, your turn. You ready?
Get her done.
The weight of your weapon is all forward, that it actually takes a lot to pull it away for a second strike. But the thing that your beast does have is a very sharp edge. Every cut is very deep, but it takes a lot of work to control this beast. More importantly though, sir, it will kill.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for the strength test. Now, why bring swords to a gun range? Well, so you too can join one of our 2 clubs. The Oh My God, They Broke My Blade with a Bullet Club, or the Bulletproof Sword Club. So to test your blades, we've got our firearm locked in a vise. We've got your blade locked in another vise downrange. We're gonna fire 1 round at that thing. It should split that bullet clean. Or worst of all, see that blade shatter. John, you're up first. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Okay. Fire.
4 holes.
You can actually see top and bottom where that bullet went across your blade. And you can see there's 4 holes in the thing over there. That's the lead core and the jacket going in different directions. So you split that bullet nicely. I don't see any damage to your blade. Well done.
Excellent.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Tommy, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Fire.
There we go.
All right, Tommy, well, your blade took some damage in that bullet test. There's a chip in one spot, and the other spot you can actually hear my fingernail catching on that roll. Having said that, it doesn't feel bad in my hand, but it is very heavy for this type of sword. But as far as the strength test goes, as you can clearly see, you took some damage.
All right, bladesmiths, now that we know your blades can take a bullet, it's time to find out if they can cut. This is the sharpness test, the shot bag slice. John, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yep.
John, man.
It is fun to wield. It is fun to move around. It cuts with every slice. It will cut.
Thank you.
All right, Tommy, it's your turn, sir. You ready?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
All right, Tommy, on the stationary cuts, it cuts cleanly. It's a sharp blade. Now, when I'm moving around and changing my balance because of the weight of the blade, it does affect the way I'm cutting. So some of the cuts are not clean all the way through. There's some strands. More importantly, your weapon here, though a beast, it will cut.
John, Tommy, the judges have made their final decision. Our new Forged and Fire champion is... John, congratulations. You are the Forged and Fire champion, and that is a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Good job, brother.
Thank you. Feels great to be the next Forged and Fire champion.
Good job, brother.
I'm super proud of all the work that I've done. I've come here and done tests that I've never would have expected, put myself into challenges that I never would have tried before, and I've succeeded, so I feel awesome.
Gentlemen, on your anvils, there is a cloth. Go ahead and remove that for me. What you have there are bars of 80 CRV2 steel, which we want you to use in the core of a sandmai blade. Sandmai is a technique that has taken down many a skilled smith in this forge. Oftentimes, they'll use mild steel in the construction, but today, we're gonna up the ante a little bit. In the competition, we're calling double trouble. Today, we want you to wrap your sandmai in this. We have bars of 1095 and 15N20 steel right here, gentlemen, that I want you to make Damascus billets out of. You will then take that Damascus, clad it on top of your 80 CRV2, constructing a sandmai Damascus blade. Gentlemen, you have 3 hours on the clock. Good luck. Your time starts now.
First thing, you gotta grab hold of that Damascus and get it shined up, because the mill scale that's on the pieces of metal itself, that's all impurities, and it will not stick with that on there. But I'm gonna use the whole stack so I can get the layer count.
I'm looking at all the steel that they gave me, and I've just decided that that is way too much. And so I'm only gonna do 14 layers. I feel that's plenty of steel. I know I need to be patient and wait for that steel to come up to temperature so that I get really good forge welds. Woohoo!
Once I get the billet welded up, I just head right for the forge. The first weld's always the most important, so I'm not gonna push this billet too far. If I go after it too much on one end, I could easily have the other end pop up on me, and I'm not about to do that.
Perfect.
The welds look good. I'm super happy with it.
I got my stacks. I'm gonna set the welds. If this doesn't go right, this is really gonna suck.
That's a good color. It looks very even throughout.
That'll do.
I definitely feel really good about my Damascus billet, that it is welded up solid. so I can go ahead and sand my billet now.
What's critical is the setup. When you have your two pieces, which are going to be the cladding material, you want those to be the same width.
Now that I have the Damascus, the thickness that I want, I'm gonna cut it to nice 6-inch pieces, just like the core steel. And I'm just gonna weld that back on it and do the exact same thing that I just did with the 1095 and 15N20.
I got my stacks, and I've got the 80 CRV2. I'm gonna set the welds on my sand mine. It's less difficult because it's only 3 pieces instead of 24, but it's super critical. No issues whatsoever. I'm very happy about that.
The tang is at a good shape. With time running out, I know I need to get over to the forge and start doing my heat treat.
So now that the billet is all forge welded together, I'm just going to start hammering the tip in.
Yeah, Max is actually using an interesting technique. Instead of just cutting a tip in, he rounded the edges. So when you start hammering, you don't have those two peaks that want to come together and fish whip over the top. Smart move.
I want to get ready for the quench. I want to make very sure that I don't overheat the tip. The tip can overheat very easily.
Chris is in the oil.
Pull my knife out of the oil. I have no big issues. All I need to do is grind. It's way too thick.
I'm trying to forge in my tip, get that done, and then I'm gonna start on my handle. I'm looking at the clock right now. I've got to get that quench done so I have time to grind it into the perfect shape.
Brian's in the oil.
It all worked out the way I wanted it to. The hell with it. I'm going over to the grinder.
Max is in the quench.
I pull out the blade and it's dead straight. I'm super happy with it. I know I have a lot of scale on the outside of it, so I have to start taking this off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentlemen, put down your tools because this round is over.
All right, bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. Now we're keeping with our double trouble theme. We got a 2-part strength test, our copper and wood chop. Copper likes to bite and grab edges. Wood likes to snap blades and wreck handles. So let's see how your edge holding and overall construction is gonna hold up. Max, you're up first. How you feeling?
I think you're about to void the warranty.
All right, Max, good job. You survived, man. Just a couple things. Right in this section right here wasn't super sharp. And I can run my finger across it. And you did pick up a couple rolls right here. But otherwise, everything's still straight. Everything's tight. Good job.
Thank you.
It's always fun for the second guy, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, yeah. Looking forward to it, Jay.
Nice job.
Didn't break.
It didn't break.
I'm good.
Okay, Brian, she still lives. Good job with paracord. Built up the handle a little bit more and gave me a good grip. Now, everything stayed straight and tight. Nothing came loose. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, you're up. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Chris, you survived. Good job.
Thank you.
Your edge is fine. You got a little bit of glinting, but not much. Handle's tight, handle's comfortable, and you stayed strong and survived. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, bladesmiths, this is a sharpness test the double tatami mat slice. Now, unlike the strength test, this is all about how sharp your edges are and how well they cut these tatami mats. A sharp knife should be able to cut cleanly. A jagged one or a dull one, well, may rip it or worse, do nothing at all. Max, you're up first. You ready for this?
Sure.
All right, Max, let's talk about your weapon here. It cut almost all the way through. Just this area right here where you have some rolling actually kind of ripped on that tatami mat. Overall, sir, your weapon, you will cut.
Thank you.
Brian, are you ready?
You know, tear her up, you mad dog.
All right, will do. All right, Brian, your edge is razor sharp enough to cut through both mats. Overall, sir, your weapon, you will cut.
Outstanding.
Chris, your turn, sir. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chris, on the first tatami mat, although it didn't cut all the way through, it's a longer cut with the angle I was cutting at with your blade. And the second one, cut all the way through. Overall, sir, your weapon, you'll cut.
Awesome.
Well, gentlemen, all three of you turned in fantastic blades, but in this double trouble competition, only two can move forward. And the bladesmith leaving the forge is Max. Unfortunately, the blade's not making the cut today. Doug's gonna tell you why.
Max, your blade took some dulling during the strength test, and it affected its performance during the sharpness test. For that reason, we're letting you go.
Totally understand.
Well, Max, it was awesome watching your work. You absolutely know what you're doing. You have what it takes to fight in the forge. Your time here has ended. I'm gonna have to ask you to please step off the forge floor.
Well, thank you. Good luck, guys. After testing, I knew it was me. Honestly, I was just happy to get past the first round, so the fact that I made it through the second, I couldn't be happier with that. The whole journey's been amazing, really. It's just like something I don't do every day, so it was just a fun challenge.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations. The two of you have succeeded. You are both moving forward into the third and final round of our Double Trouble competition. In this last round, we're gonna be sending you back to your home forges, but we're not gonna be asking you to build one iconic weapon from history. We're gonna ask you to make two. You will be building these. A pair of Ginunting swords.
As one of the weapons issued to the Philippine Military Special Forces units, the Ginunting swords have proven to be effective and deadly weapons. The word Ginunting translates to scissors, and the inward curve of the blade's design allows for deeper cuts while also proving the user with a thin, lightweight weapon. When paired together as a sword and dagger, the longer sword serves as an offensive long-range weapon, while the shorter sword serves to be defensive post-mortar weapon. The intimidating dual swords are built for brutal combat as well as navigating thick jungle terrain.
Well, gentlemen, you'll both have 4 days to build your pair of Ginuntings. One of you is going to come back here and leave $10,000 richer, carrying the title of Forge and Fire Champion. We will see you in 4 days. Good luck.
My name's Chris O'Brien. I am 43 years old. Ever since I was little, I loved creating things. I loved making things. I'm actually an art major, and when I ran across bladesmithing, I was just like, that's something I need to try. I'm gonna finish forging out this blade, and then I'm going to forge up another billet and do the second blade, and then that way I can heat treat at the same time with both blades. We're almost there. All right, we're about ready to hit it. That's the sound you want to hear right there. I decide I'm going to try a burn through. Getting the tip just a little hot. There, that looks good. Building these two swords did slow me down a little bit. I'm still on track to be able to finish with pretty good time. Looking pretty good, I like it, I like it. All I have left to do is sharpen the little blade and it'll be all done.
My name is Brian Salisbury. I'm 60 years old. The reason I got into bladesmithing was I wanted a very particular knife for my work. I work for the telephone company, so I made it, and finally I just said, oh, the heck with it. I'll start making knives. It keeps me busy and out of my wife's hair. Okay, I got them forged out. The curves look good. I got my tangs in. I've got to get these things in the oil, and that way I know what I'm up against tomorrow. There it is. She's hard under there. So, second one going in. All right, let's see if she skates. Please, 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 please. Not grabbing anywhere. Very nice. Nice. Now I'm going to drill the holes in them. We've got to finish up the last handle, and I am done. Very similar look to them. Very happy. I got to use these things. Yeah, that works.
All right, bladesmiths, welcome to the kill test. To find out how lethal your weapons are, I'm going to take your weapons and deliver some slashes and thrusts on this big carcass. Brian, you're up first. You ready for this?
Tear it up, you mad dog.
I will. All right, Brian, let's talk about your Genuntings here. First off, for Genuntings, they're a little bit on the heavier side, but that lends itself to cut deep into the pig carcass. Your handle construction is smooth, and that gives me good retention. And overall, sir, your Genuntings, you will kill.
Nice.
All right, Chris, your turn. So you ready for this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. All right, Chris, let's talk about your Genuntings here. First up, what I like about your weapon here is the balance. It's nicely distributed. The edges you have here are sharp. As you can see, pretty much cut a lot of this pig up. Overall, sir, your Genuntings, you will kill.
Awesome.
All right, gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for the strength test, the bamboo chop. To test the strength and durability of your blades, I'll be taking your Genunting and chopping into our bamboo target here. Now remember, this isn't about what your Genuntings do to that target, but what that target can do to your Genunting. Brian, you're up first. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
You ain't got nothing else to do this afternoon. All right, Brian, first off, they've got some heft to them, but they don't feel bad. They actually swing pretty good. Your blade picked up just a teeniest roll. And then on the smaller of the two blades, there's again, just the smallest deflection. Other than that, they held up beautifully. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Chris, you ready to play?
Sure.
All right, Chris, right off, your handle design for me is just about perfect. As far as swinging these things, man, they're super light. The balance is really nice on these. I don't feel anything on your edge when I run my fingernail up this thing. No deflections, no rolls. So good job.
Thank you.
All right, bladesmiths, we know your blades can kill, and we know they're strong. Now it's time to find out just how sharp your blades are. This is a sharpness test, the animal hide slice. Now, to find out how sharp your weapons are, I'm going to take your ginuntings, and I'm going to thrust and slash across this animal hide. Brian, you're up first. You ready for this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this. All right, Brian, the edges you have here are sharp. Every cut over there is quite clean, no jagged edges, and overall, sir, your weapon, it will cut.
Thank you, sir.
Chris, your turn, so you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do this. All right, Chris, first up, the grinds that you have here are perfect for this kind of cut because there is no resistance. Overall, sir, your ginuntings, it'll cut.
Thank you.
Well, gentlemen, we had 3 tests. We got 2 Smiths, but we can only have 1 winner. You guys both performed very well, but as you know, only one of you can go home the title of Forge and Fire champion and a check for $10,000. The judges have made the decision, and today's Forge and Fire champion is Chris. Congratulations. Brian, unfortunately, your blade just didn't make the cut. Dave Baker's going to tell you why.
Brian, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that competitions like this are the ones we love to see, where smiths bring back weapons that are so closely matched. This came down to the smallest things. Chris's blade was a little bit sharper than yours. It didn't take any damage. You did a great job. It's a beautiful blade.
Thank you.
Well, Brian, you're clearly a very talented smith, and your work speaks for itself on that. But unfortunately, your time here has ended. I'm gonna have to ask you to please step off the forge floor.
I put forth my best effort, but it is what it is. You can't let it eat you up too bad. I wouldn't do a damn thing differently. I got matched up against an absolutely excellent bladesmith. This time he came out on top. We go again, he just might not.
Chris, congratulations. You are today's Forge and Fire champion. You got yourself a check for $10,000.
My blades performed very well. I thought it would be awesome for my kids, just to prove to them that if you put yourself out there and put the work in, you can accomplish what you're after. My name is Chris O'Brien, and I am the Forged and Fire champion.